I did want to talk about Buddha today. Um, so I say that God incarnates in models. And I talk about Jesus and Satya Sai Baba, who I established to be the same avatar of Lord Shiva. And they have their miracles. So what makes them the same is the miracles or the leelas or the vibhuti, the luminosity, that degree of grandeur of the proof of divinity, the miracles, the proof of divinity, and how luminous that is in a relative way. I talked about the global scale. So the global scale, Jesus and Satya Sai Baba are the same, and they're the same avatar of Shiva. So I established them as the same avatar of Shiva, and I'll talk about this a lot more. But one cannot worship Satya Sai Baba and deny Jesus at the same time. So they're the same avatar of Lord Shiva. The teachings are just the word of Lord Shiva. It's just the teachings of Lord Shiva, the word of God. But it's the same. They're the same teachings. It's the same miracles. It's the same avatar of Lord Shiva. So that brings me to Buddha. And I'm supposed to go into Prashanti Nilayam. I'm installed through the Ramakrishna Math, establishing Sri Buddha, the Nara Narayan avatar of Sri Vishnu, and incorporating the teachings of Sri Buddha into Hinduism, Vedanta, and Shruti. So Shruti means some truth, and I don't know the definition precisely. Obviously, I know what Shruti is. I did pray once until I was 23. But I know what Shruti is. It's the word of God. It's some truth, some word of God, as opposed to Smriti. So the teachings of Sri Buddha are some Shruti, some word of God, some truth that he was enlightened with, and I'm to incorporate those teachings into Hinduism as Shruti, the teachings of Sri Buddha into Hinduism as Shruti, making Buddhism part of Hinduism, so to speak, or the teachings of Sri Buddha as part of Hinduism in Vedanta. And Vedanta just means truth. So Vedanta is some truth that was handed down to rishis who wrote the Upanishads, and the teachings of Sri Buddha really should be looked at just as an Upanishad. They should just be looked at as Upanishads. And I guess if you look at them as Upanishads, then the teachings of Sri Buddha go into Hinduism the way they should. But while living with Andrew Bart, I had a religious experience that I worked very hard for. And in that religious experience, some truth was handed down to me. And it's outlined in my journals. And I called my company a company called Under the Bodhi Tree, based on that religious experience. So I had that religious experience, and I called my company Under the Bodhi Tree. But only later did I establish or say that I have the same profile of being an avatar as Sri Buddha. So there's this sage. There's this Nara Narayan avatar of Sri Vishnu, who is a sage. And I'm the Nara Nataraj avatar of Sri Shiva. I say Nataraj because the Nataraj, or Shiv Nataraj, is Shiva in his cosmic dance. And I listened to more Pearl Jam than anybody on the face of the earth over a period of time, and had that religious experience listening to Pearl Jam with Swami. So a little while ago, I was lying in bed at night and looking at the toe of Lord Shiva, which is what I do, like all good boys. What else would I do in bed? And Lord Shiva says, do your cosmic dance. So I didn't know how to, but I just sort of was able to, thinking about it. So I just picked my nose, I know. So I'm not going to stop talking. So I call myself the Nara Nataraj avatar of Sri Shiva, because of the cosmic dance of Lord Shiva, the Shiv Nataraj, which is Shiva. And you see him in his cosmic dance. And the statues are always these circles in the middle of the Shiva. Is Lord Shiva in his cosmic dance. So this is Nara Narayan avatar of Sri Vishnu, and I'm the Nara Nataraj avatar of Sri Shiva. So I had this religious experience living with Andrew Bart, which is outlined in my journals. And now the mudras in the hands of Sri Buddha manifested on my hands too. And I went to see a guard at the White House, and I demonstrated the mudras on my hands that had manifested, and I talked to somebody who had lived at Prasanthi Nilayam about them, and he acknowledged them. He said, "So what?" He didn't know what he was talking about. Obviously, they're in the hands of Sri Buddha, and it's part of me equating myself as God in that model. So I say God comes in models, and I'm that model of God. So they're also in the hands of Sri Shankaracharya, and I was Sri Shankaracharya too. And if you see Shankaracharya, you will see Shankaracharya with his hand in the mudra with a Shiv tilak on his head. Now I have this on my head. It's ash and it's kumkum. It's not sindoor that manifested, but it's kumkum and vibhuti. And I wear that this way because I'm Subramaniam and I want to express myself as a child at dinner with Shiva and Parvati, and I wear this kumkum on my head with the ash that way just to express myself. So it's the mark of Sri Subramaniam. So that's why it's that way. But I have worn Shiv tilaks in the past, and I just wear this to just be who I am at the dinner table. So we have the mudras, we have the company. I had the spiritual experience called Under the Bodhi Tree. Well, I had a spiritual experience that led me to call my company Under the Bodhi Tree. We have the mudras on my hands. And what else? One day I walked into the world and I realized that there was not a Muslim from India I had met. And there's a book of verses that I'm publishing or writing. They call the Dhammapada, the Dhammapada Part 2. And those verses are verses that led me to call that book the Dhammapada or the Dhammapada Part 2. So that's how I established myself as an avatar with the same defining characteristics as Sri Buddha. And I define Sri Buddha as Lord Vishnu, but the Nara Narayan avatar of Sri Vishnu, who is Nara and Lord Narayan is one, as opposed to me, Nara, and Lord Shiva is one. So I can arrange the will of God on my hand in a mudra, and somehow these manifested.